Why, hello there, YouTube, and welcome to a brand new episode of A History of Who. So we've gone through all the classic eras. Now it's time to talk about the revival era, which 20 years ago, not today, but a few days from now, 20 years ago, Doctor Who returned to our screen. Can you believe that? 20 years. So yeah, after Doctor Who was, it was cancelled, but people have gone to say it was on hiatus now. But when Doctor Who stopped being on screens from 1989, then most of the 90s was without Doctor Who on screen. We had 1993 when they celebrated 30 years of the show with a charity special, Children in Need, Dimensions in Time, which crossed over with EastEnders. And then we had, in 1996, a one-off TV movie where we saw Sylvester McCoy's Doctor regenerate into Paul McGann as the Eighth Doctor, and that was meant to be a potential for revival, which never happened. But the Eighth Doctor did carry on in Doctor Who media through comics and audio adventures from Big Finish. And as they thought, as Doctor Who isn't going to come back to TV anytime soon, let's bring it back on radio. So then 1999 came along and we had a comic relief parody special called The Curse of Fatal Death, where Rowan Atkinson, Richard E. Grant, Jim Broadbent, Hugh Grant and Joanna Lumley played out the remaining incarnations of the Doctor's cycle in comedy form with Jonathan Pryce as the Master. So then the new millennium came, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, Doctor Who celebrated its 40th year. And of course, by celebrating that, UK Gold dedicated a whole marathon to Doctor Who from its classic years, from the first Doctor all the way to the Eighth Doctor, where K9 hosted and would present one of the best Doctor's serials. But then, during the 40th anniversary celebrations, there were rumours that Queer as Folk and Casanova writer Russell T Davies was in talks of bringing Doctor Who back the following year, and those rumours did turn out to be true. In the summer of 2004, production began on a new Doctor Who series where the show would be revived, and it did so. And then, on March 26th, 2005, Doctor Who returned to our screens. There was build-up, there was hype, there was look-backs at the classic run, and that is when Doctor Who returned. With no Paul McGann returning. Now, people always thought Richard E. Grant would be a great Doctor, and of course, during the 40th anniversary celebrations, they did do this online animation called The Screams of the Shulker, where Richard E. Grant voiced a alternate version of the Ninth Doctor, where he was, an incarnation of the Doctor, and that was seen as non-canon, until recent times when it has apparently been canonised. But yeah, Richard E. Grant did play him voice the 9A Doctor in the serial The Screams of the Shulker. But no, when Doctor Who returned to our screens, we had actor Christopher Eccleston, who was quite a well-known British actor with many acting credits to his name, such as Hillsborough, Shallow Grave, and 28 Days Later, The Others, and many other films that I can't think of off the top of my head right now. But yeah, Christopher Eccleston was cast as the Ninth Doctor. And his design, Russell T Davies thought he'd look cool in a battered leather jacket to show that he's been out on many crazy adventures. And, of course, another key part, which is just as important, was the companion, Rose Tyler, played by pop sensation Billie Piper, who got this was not her first acting job, but her first, I'd say, on-screen co-leading role in a TV series where She played Rose Tyler, which will go on to be a big part of this first 4-year revival. And of course, Billy Piper got the role. And the episode aired, where for the first part of the episode, we just got, her daily life, working a normal job, living in modern day London. But then when she encountered Autons, that's when her life changed forever. I feel that always the companion is always important because they represent like us, the audience, because we're humans. They represent us, the audience, and just like us, the audience, when they go with the Doctor, they're going off on this crazy, witty adventure with him. So yes, that's what I feel the companion is for us and for new viewers. At the time, we were new viewers. Now, for me, like I said, I had vague, faint memories of the TV movie. All I remember is the regeneration scene, and it scared the crap out of me, and it would be 10 years before I could watch that again. So basically, this was kind of my first proper introduction to Doctor Who. My parents had knowledge of the classic era, of course, but, this is where Doctor Who actually entered the 21st century. And, for the next half of the 2000s, we would have Doctor Who every year, and we would have Christopher Eccleston as the Doctor. And for one series, unfortunately, for 13 weeks, we were treated to a different adventure from the Doctor. From going to the far future where Earth died in a ball of flame, to ghosts from the past, to aliens in London, to, the Daleks. Now, they brought back the Daleks in the first series. Now, they almost didn't go through with the Daleks because they thought they couldn't get approval from the Terry Nation estate. Because whenever they use a classic monster in the show, they have to get approval from the creator's estate or the creator themselves if they're still alive. And they managed to actually get the Daleks back. So that was good, but it wouldn't be till halfway into the series we'd see one Dalek. And also the Ninth Doctor. Now, the Ninth Doctor, we kind of see that he was like recently out of a regeneration or something like that as he analysed himself in the mirror. And there were theories for so long on how the Eighth Doctor regenerated into the Ninth Doctor, what happened. We find out that there was this thing that happened in between called the Time War, a conflict that happened between the Daleks and the Time Lords and the Daleks. And we know that the Doctor, as he described it, he is the last of the Time Lords, and everyone lost in the end, and Gallifrey is gone, it's dust. So he was a rogue Time Lord with probably PTSD struck by it all as well. And for ages it theorised that the Eighth Doctor either fought in the Time War and died and regenerated, or the Ninth Doctor fought in the Time War. For a long time, 8 years, we didn't know much about the Time War, but that would all be explained later on down the line during the show's 50th celebrations, which is another episode for another time. So yeah, we knew that the Doctor had a pure hatred for the Daleks, and also that he was, he had battle scars, mental scars from the Time War. And we saw a lot of dark elements in Eccleston's Doctor, but every now and then he would show a happy side, like in the two-part episode, The Empty Child and the Doctor Dances, where everybody lives, when he was all happy and jolly. I feel that when Rose tagged along with him in the TARDIS, he started to come out of his shell a bit more and sort of start to enjoy things again. He still had the TARDIS. Also, along the way, he picked up many other companions, from Adam Mitchell to Mickey Smith, and then another character who would go on to be a fan favourite and reoccurring face still, Captain Jack Harkness, played by John Barrowman, who would travel with the Doctor in the final 3 episodes in the finale, and then he would die only to get resurrected by Rose and her looking into the heart of the TARDIS, and he would be brought back forever. And they left him in the far future, but they'd get back to him. We'd find out what would happen eventually with Captain Jack. As for the Doctor, after if he was going to take himself out with the Daleks, He did, however, get saved by Rose, who looked into the TARDIS, and we found out as a modern viewer that the TARDIS is a living ship and it has a heart. Also, the Ninth Doctor kissed Rose by taking the entire vortex out of her and into himself and putting it back into the TARDIS, which damaged his body. And for us, the modern viewers, see, we were a whole new generation of kids that didn't know what regeneration was, so it was very new to us. I mean, I was aware that the role of actors who play the Doctor change over time and they become different people, and that I never fully got to grips with that until I watched the series 1 finale, The Parting of the Ways. So on the 18th of June 2005, after only one series and 13 episodes, the Ninth Doctor regenerated, and we saw as modern viewers how that process is done, how they get new actors all the time. So yeah, and before the series concluded, word got out that Christopher Eccleston was leaving after only one series, and I was like, wait, what's going to happen then? But then, it was meant to be like a surprise or a shock, whatever. The word got out that he was leaving before the series concluded, and we eventually, found out, what happened. In later years, Eccleston had gone on to say that he didn't get on with the writing or the production team. He didn't enjoy working in the role. He didn't really like, being the Doctor, so he left after one series. And yeah, he was a one-time Doctor. I feel one series only gets you introduced to the Doctor. Could he have stopped for another series? Maybe it would have been nice to, but he left and that was it. He was gone, and every opportunity he's had to return, he's turned down, except for recent times when he has returned in audio form, where Eccleston has actually voiced his Doctor in Big Finish audio. But yeah, after one series, that was it. Rose Tyler stayed aboard for one more series, and like us, the audience, I kind of feel she represented us, the modern generation that was witnessing this whole transition from another actor from one actor to another, and it explained definitely for me that so this is how it happens. This is how it's gone from different actors over the years. So yeah, after Christopher Eccleston left, it was then announced that Casanova actor David Tennant, David John McDonald, better known as David Tennant, would take over the role. And from then on, even though it was for a couple seconds in the series 1 finale, when we see the new Doctor's face, the new Doctor, I knew that, little did we all know that probably, he would go on to be a favourite incarnation, and he would definitely go on to be my Doctor.